Hey guys, it's Tombox, and we're going to Rib Fest. Best color to wear at a very saucy party.
Schmossy.
Saucy. Here in Canada, we don't exactly have as much barbecue compared to the States, especially for those of us living on the coast. But once a year, here in Port Moody, we get to indulge ourselves in the annual Rib Fest. At Rocky Point Park, tons of people have gathered to sink their teeth into some juicy, smoky, tender ribs from our own competitive barbecue teams around Canada. Now, this video is not vegetarian friendly. Sorry, bro. My brother is a vegetarian. But as for the rest of us, expect to line up under the sun for about 15 to 20 minutes. But at least there's live music to keep us waiting. As for our ribbers, we got Smokin' Bones, Gator, Misty Mountain, Boss Hog, and Prairie Smoke and Spice. Now each of these barbecue titans not only flex with their meat, but also with their blings of triumph. So what's the game plan? Well, the game plan is we're going to be eating from 3 of these BBQ Titans. We're going to be eating from Misty Mountain, our newest competitor, Boss Hog, and last year's favorite, Smokin' Spice. Now, it's a bit of an understatement to say that these things are fall off the bone good. It's like you tug on the bone, the meat stays where it is, but the bone comes out. It's like, what? That's not even fall off the bone. That's just the bone got rejected from the meat good. Now these ribs are going to set you back a little bit. It's $28 for a full rack, but you can get a half rack for about $18. Of course, you can get a third rack as well, but who would want to get a third rack after all? But aside from the ribs, you can also get classics like brisket, beef ribs, pulled pork, smoked chicken, and all your favorite sides. And to my American viewers, I'm speaking in Canadian dollar terms, so with our crappy exchange, this is like pennies for you guys. But I must confess, I didn't do well in high school math, so I could be a little bit off. Now, I'm no expert in barbecue, but I know what I like in barbecue, and so this is going to be my personal opinion regarding each of these contenders' ribs. Now, let's start off with Prairie Smoke and Spice. This was last year's favorite. I would have to say that this year, the meat was a bit tougher and a bit more attached to the bone. Last year, they had the whole reject the bone good, where the meat just does not want to stay on that bone. Now, for the sauce, this sauce is a bit more mild, but that was to be expected. If you enjoy a strong meat flavor and where the flavors are more highlighted on just the meat themselves, this is the one to get because they have very smoky meat and it's very delicious and very indulgent when it comes to all the juices of the meat just exploding in your mouth. So if you're a raw power kind of guy, you just love the flavor of smoky ribs, then this might be the one for you. Now, as for Boss Hog, they have an all-round good rib in general. It's juicy, it's tender, it's succulent, it rips apart pretty easily, and on top of that, they also have a very delicious sauce. And speaking of the sauce, they caramelize the outside very, very well. It's not burned or anything. That means they handle the sugar temperatures pretty well, and then you don't get a really charcoaly taste. As for the sauce itself, it's a much fruitier sauce, it's sweeter, and if you enjoy a sweet sauce complementing your delicious rib, then Boss Hog might be the choice for you. Now then there's Misty Mountain. I really wish I recorded this, but I didn't. I just tried to grab one off of my sister's plate, and the bone came straight out, and the meat was still in the plate. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? No. There's not a trace of meat left, so this one has the whole rejecting the bone good. And on top of that, the meat was so juicy. When you bite into it, it just explodes in your mouth. And that is a very pleasant feeling. The texture was really nice, very tender. It's not as smoky as compared to the other 2 competitors, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It was really, really delicious. And then there was also the bold sauce. The sauce was a bit more bold. They leave a layer of sauce on top that's a bit more fresh. It's not really on the flame as much, but when you bite into it, it just really complements the whole feeling altogether. So, which is your favorite rib?
Misty.
Misty? What's your vote?
Misty.
Yeah. You know what? I think I'm also gonna vote for Misty today, because they definitely were like a cut above. Haha, a cut. Our choice for Ribfest 2018 is gonna be Misty Mountain. Alright, now we're finishing off the day. If you go to Rocky Point, you have to get ice cream. Yes. Yes? Yes, we have to get ice cream.
Yes, just ice cream in general. That's a way to collect. And his like scoop on the ground, and he was just like, my life is over. My 4-year-old life is over.
So that concludes Ribfest. We finished with the day with ice cream. And here we have Care, Shell, and Tombox.
Wow, way to use the real name on stream. Wow. Social.
Anyways, heading out now. And that concludes this episode of
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z.